Okay, and then hopefully everyone can see the slides. So there you go. So we just want to start off on a positive note. We've got quite a few study updates. We've gone up to now 39 sites open to recruitment. So Doncaster Royal Infirmary, University Hospital, Lewisham, and Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Woolwich, have all joined the SepTiC trial. And amazingly, they all recruited their first patient within just a few days of opening the study. So welcome to those sites and well done for getting your first participant in so quickly. Overall, we are over 700 participants recruited to the SepTiC trial, and just wanted to give a little shout out to St Mary's Hospital for recruiting the trial's 700th participant. But thank you to all the trial teams for all your effort with recruitment. It's really helping us reach our new goal. And then we've got a few more sites in setup. We've even had a few more expressions of interest even, which is great. For those sites in setup, we are keen to get you open as soon as possible so that you can get recruiting. So if there's anything that you need from us or any queries about site setup documentation, don't hesitate to get in touch. And then I'll kind of pass over to my colleagues, Paulina and Pommy, who are just going to go over a few study updates. Okay. So first I'll hand over to Paulina for an update about our Florence EISF.
Hi all. So the next couple of slides, we have some screenshots of
Hmm.
what it looks like and what Florence is in general. So Florence itself is an EISF, which is an electronic investigator site file, which is a digital system used in clinical studies to store and manage regulatory and clinical documents. So moving forward, all new sites joining the trial will be using the Florence EISF. And in general, we have received quite positive feedback from all studies who are currently using it already. The EISF is a secure, fully validated system that is compliant with ICH GCP and UK GDPR and allows for remote monitoring, which saves time and administrative burden. Next slide. So here we have a couple screenshots on what Florence looks like and how to upload documents to Florence. So there's two different ways in which documents can be uploaded. The first one, we have a video on the top. What you can do, I know a lot of sites have a lot of their documents stored in their share drive. So what you can do is you can just select the documents you would like to upload to a specific folder in Florence, select all those documents, drag and drop it, and they will automatically upload to that folder. And then the second option is to import via email. So you would just go into a specific folder in Florence itself, and that gives you a unique email address. You can copy that, paste it into, you would then forward your email with all the attachments that you would like to upload to Florence, copy that specific email address into your forward, and then all of those attachments will automatically upload to that folder. Next slide. So how to organize multiple documents. So bulk actions are an easy way to move, duplicate, or download multiple documents and placeholders at once. So in Florence, you're able to select multiple documents. You would then go into the Actions button and you can download all of those documents, duplicate them, or move them into a separate folder. Next slide. New versions of documents. So Florence allows you to stack documents on top of each other, for example, GCP certificates or protocols. So how you would go about doing this, you would click on the version button on the top of the document and access the drop-down menu and select Upload a new version. You would then use the drag and drop or browse function to add the new version of the document, and you must state a reason why you're adding a new version. So for example, updating GCP certificate. You would then click save, and then that version would go to the very top. Then to access previous versions of the document, you would just click on the version button to see the drop-down menu and select what version you would like to view. Next slide. So for all sites who have already had the Florence Teams call, you've probably already received the Excel spreadsheet with the EISF structure. So us, the study team, will send you an Excel spreadsheet with an overview of the EISF structure, which lists all of the folders and what the structure in Florence looks like. But you can also go into Florence itself and go into Global View, which allows you to view all of the folders laid out or documents in each folder, and allows you to see how many documents you have uploaded, how many documents have expired, almost expired, and any placeholders that we are still missing documents for. So some frequently asked questions that we have received. What should sites upload to Florence? So all regulatory and essential documents such as delegation logs, training records, approvals, CVs, and certificates should be uploaded to Florence. And how often should this be updated? So this should be kept inspection ready at all times, just like a physical ISF, with documents uploaded promptly as they are created or updated. And if you are transferring from a physical ISF to Florence eISF, what should you do with your current folder? So the physical ISF should still be kept at site for monitoring purposes, and any wet ink signed documents can be stored in this, for example, delegation log. So opening the floor up to questions about Florence.
Please feel free to put your hand up or pop in the chat if you're a new site opening to Florence, and you've got any queries, or you're already open site and you've just got any queries about day to day, how to use it. And like Paulina said, we've had some really good feedback from the sites. I can see the Dream research team from Nottingham are on the call, and I had some good feedback from them about the system. So I feel quite confident that it will help sites with the management. Yeah,
Can I
Glenn?
just, oh, go. I was just going to
Sorry.
ask for those who have used it, if they, even the positive comments are good, just, it is new, but I think we're going to be using these ESICFs more and more. I know some sites have been perhaps slower to adopt. I've just wondered from those who've used it, any comment? Maybe if we stop sharing, we might see people, it might be easier.
Yeah, of course. I will just stop sharing for a second.
But so Nottingham team, by all, please, or anybody else who's used it, any comment that we could feed into sites who haven't yet adopted it? You're all on mute.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah, I know we can. Yeah, hi.
Sorry, there I had problems with the microphone. So I'm David from Nottingham University Hospitals. So I lead SepTiC for the Dream research team over at our site. Yeah, we really like using Florence. I did actually have a question for Paulina, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Paulina, the way your ISF looked on Florence and SepTiC there, is that how mine should look? Because mine looks a little bit different in the layout. Or is that just like an example?
That was just an example. So it was just a screenshot of our trial master file. So I think
Fine.
the site ISF looks a little bit different to our trial master file.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really like that version update. I didn't realize I could do that. That's really helpful, especially with like my GCPs and stuff, because it suddenly looks like I have, about 50 or 60 GCPs when I can actually stack them. So I think that's really useful.
Excellent. It's great to hear. It is useful. It does strike me in 2026, but we need to move away from paper and go with electronic and technology solutions to make our lives easier. Claire, were you going to comment?
Yes, it was just a question for Paulina on that last slide. So any sites that have physical ISFs with wet sign documents, those are still uploaded to Florence, the wet sign documents. So there's a duplication there.
So, Ravi, correct me if I'm wrong, but all updated documents would be uploaded to Florence. But then if any new staff members would like to wet signature sign the delegation log, they would sign that copy, pop that into the physical ISF, but also upload it into Florence. Am I right, Ravi?
Yeah, that's correct. So, like, say if you've got a wet ink signed delegation log, or a participant has signed the consent log form physically, we still wouldn't be able to get rid of that, as that's like the original source document. But the folder would be a lot smaller. For the new sites, they just have a working folder, which is a lot smaller than filing every single protocol amendment moving forward. This is more for sites who opened on paper while we were in the process of setting Florence up. And now that we've got it, it's just switching them over. But like Tony said, most of the trials moving forward are beginning to start with an electronic site file from the get-go. And there was a question in the chat. Is this just for new joining sites, or are there plans for sites that have previously joined? Yeah. So that's from Claudia. Yes, so our plan is to transfer sites who are on paper onto Florence. But it also depends, I guess, with approval for local R&D as well. So if you have already completed your Florence training for another trial, that's great. We can use the same certificate and it will make the process a lot smoother. Might just start sharing the rest of the slides. Please feel free to continue to put questions in the chat. Okay, so I will just hand it over to Promi to go over some data entry reminders, some FAQs as well.
Thanks, Ravi. So I'm just going to go through a couple of data entry reminders and frequently asked questions. So the following are a few patient withdrawal scenarios that we have come across. So if a patient has been withdrawn from follow-up but has agreed for all data to be collected, what should the site enter? So on the end of study form, please document the patient withdrawal. So you would select the option to say that the patient has been withdrawn from follow-up only, and please ensure that all data entry up to that point of withdrawal is entered. The second scenario is if a patient has been withdrawn from treatment only, what should the site enter? So again, please document this on the end of the study form. So the site would select patient has withdrawn from treatment only, and continue with the data entry and the follow-up information. Are there any questions that anybody has that we could address right now regarding patient withdrawals or the end of study form? If not, no worries. Please feel free to drop them in the chat, or feel free to drop us an email if a scenario comes along and you're unsure on what to enter. Next slide, please, Ravi. Thank you. Couple more reminders regarding data entry. Please ensure that you check your follow-up calculator regarding the day 180 questionnaires. Please attempt to contact the patient 3 times and ensure that this is documented. If the day 180 follow-up is not done, please complete a note to file and send this to the SepTiC trial team. If the day 180 follow-up has not been completed and no attempts have been made to contact the patient, this will be a protocol deviation. And lastly, please regularly monitor and respond to the queries on Open Clinica. There's no need to assign each query to a specific staff member, as you can see on the screenshot on the bottom left-hand corner, as we can track and see when a query has been addressed. Next slide, please. Thank you. A few more frequently asked questions regarding sample collection this time. So what should the site do if a patient and or the next of kin declines to the following statement on the consent form? So the statement is regarding blood samples being used to undertake genetic research, which may have the potential to generate data that can be tracked back to the patient. So the patient can still be enrolled into the trial. However, to comply with the patient's and or next of kin's request, only the yellow top SST tube sample should be taken at baseline. Please do not collect any 4 ml EDTA tubes or Paxton tubes. To ensure this restriction is recorded in Open Clinical on the consent eCRF, please add this to the database and record all samples collected on the sample eCRF page. What should a site do if a patient is randomized to all 3 interventions in one day? So should the site take 2 PAX gene samples, 1 for baseline and 1 for day 1 for the GM-CSF intervention? So the answer would be yes. If a patient is randomized to all 3 interventions, please collect all the baseline samples and the additional PAX gene sample for the GM-CSF intervention. And lastly, another frequently asked question that we recently had was, we have randomized a patient but have realized that we have no sample kits left. What should we do? Please let the SepTiC team know as soon as possible and we will guide you through the next steps. So either give us a call or drop us an email in the first instance. If there are any identical tubes available from the hospital stock, these can be used. However, please confirm this with the SepTiC trial team first. Are there any questions regarding sample collection? Anybody would like to raise? No, utter silence, no problem. Again, if there are any questions, feel free to drop us an email and let us know. Next slide, please. Thank you. And finally, a couple more reminders from myself. The first one is, please can all sites ensure that they are regularly checking their kit levels. So this includes sample kits, EDTA tubes, PAX gene tubes, mailing boxes, and tracked stickers. Please let the SepTiC trial team know in advance if you are running low on any consumables. And consumables can take a couple of days to arrive at the site once the order has been dispatched. And there must be some available in the instance a patient is randomized. Please do not try and leave this to the last minute if possible, and regularly check your kit levels, and this will be super helpful to ensure that no samples are missed for any of the patients. And lastly, don't think that was the question. If it was, please do let me know. And lastly, final reminder is, can all site staff who have not yet sent through their updated ICH GCP E6R3 certificates to please send this to the SepTiC trial email. And thank you to all those team members and sites who have already sent their certificates. Any questions at all regarding kit levels, GCP certificates, or anything that I have covered? Nope. No worries. Once again, if there are any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat below or raise your hand and we can always answer them. Now I'm going to hand it over back to Ravi, who will go through a couple of updates regarding the IMP.
Okay, thanks, Promi. Yes, so following on from the new ICH GCP guidelines, so they come in at the end of April. In line with the new guidelines, our IMP labels have been updated. The sponsor has approved this as a non-substantial, non-notifiable modification. So this is a new GCP terminology in place. And our manufacturer is currently relabeling the stock. So we've already had a few sites getting in touch to request some IMP replenishment. We've added it to our tracker and we'll begin shipping the new stock to sites in the next few weeks. So please keep an eye on your IMP levels. Get in touch if you need to submit another order and we'll make sure that you get the stock. And that was kind of it from us. We don't have another webinar scheduled yet, but if there are any other topics that you wish to discuss, again, please let us know in the chat or pop your hand up if there's any topics that you wish us to cover. We do have recordings from all of our previous webinars on the SepTiC website, so you can go back and watch those. And we're also looking to organise another API forum. So this is for staff members who are part of the NIHR API trainee scheme. I'm not sure if we've got any API trainees on the call at the moment. We had a call a while back now, just for staff members at different sites to kind of have a discussion with how the scheme is going. And also, any NHR scheme members are more than welcome to present at our webinars as well. As part of your training, you can include it on your checklist actions. We've had some really helpful webinars from those members in the past as well, just to give an insight of how you're running the trial, what's going well, what to keep an eye out for, etc. Okay, so great. We've got an API on the call. So I guess the dates, we can reach out to everyone who's currently on our API scheme and maybe get a doodle poll out and kind of feel what works best for everyone. I feel like as it's mid-May and we've got bank holiday, it might not be until June, July time. But we'll try and find a time that works best for everyone. But thank you for the interest. Thank you, Zaka, as well, for your interest as well. So we'll get in touch. I'll just stop sharing my slides now. Is there anything else anyone wish to discuss?
If there's nothing else from you guys, one thing just to remind you that from our last interim report for sent to from the DMEC, just wanted to make sure there was that separation in the fluid intervention arms or in fluid intervention trial part, that the intervention group, the patients who get their conservative resuscitation aspects, conservative fluid, seem to be going right. There was a suggestion that maybe not enough patients were being diuresed if they were fluid overloaded. So just to remind you, that once the patient is cardiovascularly stable, to write up the frusemide both and the bolus and the infusion to try and encourage that negative balance over those first few days. It's too early for us to tell whether there's been an effect yet, but I just thought to take this opportunity to remind you to do that so that we see a separation in the groups. Claire, have you got a comment?
Just yes, following that, Tony, we have a resource which we've designed. I believe we'd be able to send it out to the sites, which just outlines the fluid intervention, helps you follow the protocol. So look out for that one there.
Not, we'll wrap up early. Nothing else.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Well,
Thanks,
thank you
everybody.
everyone for joining. And thanks, Tony, for your help with the queries as well. We'll record this and we'll pop it on our website afterwards. Thanks, everyone.
Nice to see you all. Bye.